Some people might have a little rock and roll pneumonia.
You wanted the best, you got the best from my home studio on Long Island, New York. Welcome to Ian Scotto Rocks. I am your host, Ian Scotto, and I know you Kiss fans always love when I do the you wanted the best, you got the best, which has become a trademark of the channel, and of course, Paul Stanley at the beginning. There is a lot of homage to Kiss on this channel, and many of the highest performing videos on this channel are Kiss related. And much like a certain segment of the Kiss army, I'm going to give it to you guys straight. I'm not someone who's going to bash Kiss, but I'm also definitely not someone who's going to praise every single thing that they do. And on this video, I'm just going to tell you something completely factual. This is not a shot at Gene Simmons. This is not to bash Gene Simmons. I am a Gene Simmons fan. The truth is, tickets to his solo band shows are just not moving. They are not selling. And as you guys probably saw, if you follow Kiss-related news, many of these shows were canceled. And although they didn't say it, it was pretty explicit and pretty apparent that these shows were canceled due to a lack of ticket sales. That's really what it boils down to. So of the remaining shows, we're seeing the exact same problem. And I'm just going to show you the facts here, pulling this up on Ticketmaster. So scrolling through this, as you can see, these are the shows that are happening: Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Ohio. I think there's some overseas stuff, so Northeast generally. And then if you look at the shows that were canceled, Indiana canceled, Illinois, Texas, another Texas gig. I guess there's a few in Texas that were canceled. But people thought that the entire tour was canceled, which is not the case. It's just a much shorter tour. Now, the reason a lot of these were originally canceled when it comes to supply and demand is that Gene was just demanding way too high of a ticket price. And I think these venues just had to say, this is not moving. We're not going to have this performance, because he was asking for something like $200 for the cheapest seat in the house. Of these smaller venues, like, we're not talking arenas by any means or amphitheaters. These are bigger clubs, we'd say. And that was too high of a demand, or too high of a price that he was asking for. So now they've lowered the prices for these remaining shows to a reasonable cost, pretty much the same thing you would see for most acts in clubs of the same capacity, and yet they're still not selling. So let's just look at this. This is the one that's coming up tomorrow as I'm recording this. Red Bank, New Jersey, at the Hackensack Meridian Health Theater. Now go look at this. If we look at the map, okay? As you can see, you can buy tickets anywhere on the map. But then if we click on the individual tickets, look. I mean, more than half the place is still available, or around half the place. And how much are you paying for tickets? Let's just see, like, you know, here in front of the mixing board. $129, that's actually pretty costly. But let's see, if you want to get, you know, cheap seats way in the back, how much are you paying? I'm not doing the corners, the aisles, because those tend to be a little more. All right, $99, still a little pricey. There's other gigs you're going to see that aren't as pricey. You know, because you can't demand these Kiss-level prices when it's Gene Simmons. By and large, the people who want to see a Gene Simmons Band show are going to be diehard Kiss fans. And I think actually part of the problem, too, is that he's done a number of gigs, and he's basically doing a few greatest hits of Kiss, then he's doing some cover songs, and people are like, no, we want to see some deep cuts. Play like X-Ray Eyes. Play Unholy, because you haven't played that in ages, and he's not really doing those songs, and hopefully they change that, because he's got a killer band behind him. But yeah, look at that. I mean, if you want to go to this show, you could certainly go for about $100, which, like I said, still kind of pricey. Let's look at Montclair, New Jersey, another New Jersey gig. That'll be the night after. Let's see how those are moving. All right, now we see on here that you can get a $59 ticket. So maybe people choose to go to this show instead. Where's the seat? Oh my God, look at that. Up there, there is pretty much no tickets sold. I mean, look at that. That is not good, man. And then how much is it if I want to sit up there? Let's see. $59. All right, that's completely reasonable. And no one is buying tickets, as you can see. I mean, that is bad. That is really bad in terms of attendance. And this is not, I mean, look at the amount of seats here. I'd have to look up the capacity. this is not a huge venue by any means. All right, let's keep going here. Just to show you guys it's not just New Jersey by any means. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. How are tickets moving? All right, you got $45 tickets. Small venue, very small. Not a whole lot of seats there, and a whole lot available. Wherever you want to sit, you are welcome to sit there for $59.50. What about if you want these seats way up front? How much are they? $143, not bad at all. Man, tickets are just not moving, and I think Gene had way higher hopes for this tour, especially since he was originally demanding like 200 plus per ticket, which was completely ridiculous. What do we got after that? We've got, I think, Long Island near me, which I was debating going to. I'll be honest, I have a lot of other expenses I'm handling, being that I was planning on moving and now I'm not going to. So, yeah, a lot of personal business to take care of. So I'm probably gonna take a break from shows. But then again, I mean, tickets to this are not expensive, right? This is right by me in Huntington. Let's see if you want to do general admission. $80, not bad. What if you want to be way up front? $80, wow. Or is this handicapped? It says handicapped accessible, so maybe those are just handicapped. What if you want to be first row? There's no first row. What if you want to be second row? $150. And what are they charging for way in the back here? $80. Sky bar, $80. So, and as you can see, not much is moving. These are going to be shows maybe half attended if they could just get rid of some tickets last minute just to make the place look more full. But this is really not looking good. Let's do one more. I see that they have Mohegan Sun coming up, which I love going to Mohegan Sun, truthfully. Great venue. They have the Wolf Den if you want to go to the smaller shows, and then they have the arena, which of course Gene is attempting to do the arena. Wolf Den shows tend to be, well, actually are always free. And it's cool because like if the band goes on at 8, they go on exactly at 8, no headliner, and they usually play for an hour. So if you're like me, I feel like a lot of these shows are endurance tests. You know, even if you're a diehard music fan like me, after I see like 5 acts, it's like I've had enough of this. And I kind of like these hour-long performances at the Wolf Den or hour and a half where just all the energy is there. You get there right on time and they play. Maybe that's just me being an old man, but although I'm like young for this demographic, being 38, about to be 39, I know a lot of the Gene Simmons Kiss demo are 50s, 60s, maybe even older. But these are bands I love to see. And also Mohegan Sun has some great restaurants. They have a great sushi place called Koya Sushi. So I'll go to Mohegan Sun just for an excuse to go to Mohegan Sun. But let's look at the map here. As you can see, everything is full. This one seems to be selling a little better, and part of that is, which Ticketmaster always does some weird shit. How you see like every other row is sold. I think what that is because Mohegan Sun is a casino. They kind of give away some tickets to the high rollers. I'm no high roller, and I've even gotten those email alerts of, hey, we have extra tickets to this show for being a valued customer, and you just kind of go to the booth and you'll get free tickets, and it's something to do there because they know you're going to spend money. They know you're going to go to the great restaurants, maybe play some slots, and hopefully, in their case, they think you're losing some money going there. Between all that, maybe getting a hotel room for the night, which isn't cheap, but let's see how these are selling. All right, the floor, there's a lot that is sold. But then up here, certain sections, there's nothing sold. And maybe they'll curtain off these if nothing gets sold. Yeah, $46 to be out there at the cheap seats. What about if you want to be on the floor? What are you paying? $69, certainly not bad. Certainly not what he was originally demanding. And what if you want to be way up front? Okay, there's front row here. How much do you think it's going to be front row to see the Gene Simmons Band? $222. Not really that expensive. Certainly not what he had hoped for. I know he's doing a bunch of VIP things for thousands of dollars. Who knows if those are selling? But yeah, I think Gene was expecting way more. And I know he's been doing a lot of podcast interviews, going out there. But the truth is, who's going to see these shows? Diehard Kiss fans. And many of those people have gotten their fix because it was only a year and a half ago that Kiss played their last show, which many people went to go see that tour, multiple dates of that tour. People get their Kiss fix seeing Ace Frehley, who's constantly been on the road for years and years now. And yeah, there aren't as many people clamoring for a Gene Simmons Band performance. Certainly when he's not doing the deep cuts like people would like to see. If he's just kind of going through the motions, there isn't that huge demand to see a Gene Simmons show regardless, because look, all these venues seem to be half sold, even less than half sold. And what do you guys think? Are any of you planning on attending these? Are any of you surprised that these are not selling? Let me know. As always, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're feeling a little generous, hit the thanks button below, and you could send us a super thanks. That donation goes to keeping the show going, because it is not free to make these videos. I have a great video editor who helps me out with all of this and coming up with new ideas for videos. We do rock news, we do deep dives and commentary, and we also have a merch store below if you want to check out the best merch. We have great t-shirts and limited edition mugs here on Ian Scotto Rocks that would really appreciate if you help support the channel. And also, if you want to binge watch some more great Kiss content, of which we have done much of, click on this video right here. We're getting great feedback for all of our Kiss content. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you around here on Ian Scotto Rocks.